Welcome to the final episode of the Worst of the RIOT podcast for 2023. That's not a year in review episode.
What a year it was. What a great year.
What a year. So coming up in the coming days, you'll get to hear our Worst of the RIOT for 2023, some of our highlights from throughout the year. But first, today's highlights, which include a crack pipe at McDonald's getting it shut down.
We also talk about bringing a fake date to a holiday function.
A lot of questions about that. A lot of questions. But apparently a lot of people do it. And so we get to that in the show. Also, California doing something with their wastewater that Isaiah is in full support of, it seems.
But many people across the country, I guess, think it's disgusting.
That's the impression that I get. Yes. A good show today, as always. Our final real show of 2023. The other ones are real too, but they're highlights up from the highlights. So enjoy. Merry Christmas. And we'll catch you next time.
Happy New Year. See you guys next year.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the RIOT. RadioU.
They need to find a woman in Georgia who worked a 2-hour shift at Waffle House. The reason they're looking for her is because she doesn't actually work at Waffle House, and she was just posing as a worker to steal money out of the cash register. But she put in a whole 2-hour shift to do it.
That's a lot of work to steal.
That is. She might have had to serve like 3 customers.
Hey, Waffle, it depends what time she's working. Is she working between midnight and 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
And then might be a little more packed.
Yeah. Well, it depends what time, too. I guess if it's not busy, it becomes even more questionable why the other actual Waffle House employees didn't realize that she didn't actually belong there, you know?
It's on the south side of Atlanta in a place that looks to be called Riverdale.
Is this actually like a pretty good scheme, though? Like, do you actually have to give her credit?
No,
I mean, so far she's gotten away with it.
Because think about this, though. You, a sane person, you would obviously, if you were trying to go to Waffle House and pretend to be a worker, you would know walking in that they would just catch you. There's no chance the workers would not notice that you don't work there.
There is a chance, apparently.
But I can't believe that this lady took that risk.
Yeah.
Like, I would never be like, oh, I probably could just hop behind the cash register, and they would never know. A sane person would never think that because that's not a good plan.
Yeah.
But somebody who has no sanity would just hop behind the counter and pretend to be the cashier, and I guess they just happen to not notice.
Do you think that maybe she's cased the place before? So maybe she's not insane. Maybe she's a customer that's worked there or eaten there before. And she's like, these employees don't know their head from their tail. I could just slip on in here and work a couple of hours and I'll be good to go. They won't know the difference.
Did she like go to the back and like put on an apron?
She had to, right? Have some kind of outfit. It could even be possible that she worked at a different, it couldn't possibly have been this Waffle House, right? But she could have worked at a different Waffle House before. And so this was just a way for her to get a few extra bucks.
And you have to wonder how much she stole.
Yeah. And think about this too, right? Why would she take money out of the cash register?
When people are handing you money.
Yeah, she could have just put in 2 hours, take the tip money, and then just go. Is that even stealing? Because they're tipping you. They're not tipping Waffle House, right?
Ooh, that's a good workaround.
But then what if they pay with a card?
Well, then you're out of luck.
Yeah.
And how many people are paying with cash nowadays?
There goes that mastermind scheme. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought if you need a few extra bucks during the holidays, this wasn't the worst idea. She just put in an honest couple hours work and then dishonestly stole from the cash register.
I wonder how much she stole versus how much she would have made if she just worked those 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know? How much they would have just paid her.
If she was a waitress, that's what, like $2 an hour plus tips. But if she's not on payroll and they don't tip with cash, she's not getting tips. So $4, I would think.
Is how much she would have made?
Yeah. 2 hours is not a very long time to work.
Or would it have been the same amount as she got anyway if she just took all the tips?
Also, think about this. Maybe the reason that they just let her work there is because this Waffle House is so slammed, they're just happy to have any extra hands on deck.
That's what I'm thinking it probably was.
They're so short-handed.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Isaiah, how many eggs do you think you could eat in the span of a day from wake up to bedtime?
A lot.
What's the max?
Probably like 30.
You think you could hit 30?
I think over the course of an entire day?
Yeah.
I think I could probably get to 30.
That's a massive amount of eggs.
Well, you got to think for breakfast. I mean, you could eat 10 eggs for breakfast. If I woke up at the time that I do.
Yeah.
Then maybe 10 eggs for lunch. 10 eggs for dinner.
I don't know. 30 eggs. That's like 3 an hour. 3 is like kind of a normal meal, even if you like 10 is, I could eat 10 when I wake up, but 3 is like normal.
If I had somebody just making eggs for me all day and I could just keep on snacking on them, you could probably put, but the eggs are an easy meal. Especially think about if you poach them. Boop, there's one. Boop, there's another. You just toss them in your mouth.
I don't know. I think you're underestimating how hard it would be to eat so many eggs. So you don't consider this then. I've got a gal here on TikTok. She said her ex-boyfriend was in a fantasy football league this year where the punishment was the loser has to eat as many eggs in a day as they are years old. And I mean, as much of a difference as it makes, it's not 20 in the 24-hour period. It's from when you wake up to when you go to bed. You have to eat the eggs that corresponds with your age. Most of the people in the league are in their late 20s to early 30s. So they're talking right where you're talking, 30 eggs, give or take, is how much you would have to eat. So that's not a punishment to you.
No, it's for sure a punishment. I mean, it wouldn't be easy. It would stink. It'd be terrible.
Think about how your body
I think it would
feel.
I think it's doable, though. Like, it's not like one of those punishments that you wouldn't be able to complete, I don't think, if you really set your mind to it. If you had a Saturday where that's what you did all day.
Think about, I don't know, though, like, if you're eating 25 eggs in a day, so you're talking that is definitely like if you're awake for a normal amount of time, that's at least 2 hours or 2 eggs an hour, right? And then I guess a little over
which would be a terrible way to do it.
You would group them all together.
I would do 3 big ones. Yeah.
3 egg sessions. But you couldn't go to bed until you finished the final egg session.
Yeah.
Which would suck.
I would probably do like 8, 8, and 8. I don't know. What's 8 times 3? 24?
Yeah, 8, 8, 8. Yep.
And 25. 8, 8, or 9, 8, 8.
I mean, that sounds tough. I think I could eat a lot. I always think in eating challenges, I think I could do surprisingly well. But I just think that's so many eggs. That's so many eggs. When you normally eat 4 in a meal, over 20 is so much.
You want to know what the most eaten eggs in a day is?
What's the record?
This is what a human being was able to do. And you don't think you could do 25. This guy did 153.
How is he alive?
153
How did he survive
eggs.
that?
Before that was 141. And you want to know who had that one? In 141, that was Joey Chestnut.
Wow,
that dude's good. He's unstoppable.
What percentage of Joey Chestnut's eating ability do you think you have?
But this guy, Josh Cotreau, he ended up getting to 143. He's in an Australian punk band named Fangs.
Frog says when he used to compete in strongman, he used to do 24 a day.
There it is, right there.
All right, Gaston.
See?
All right.
I knew it. I knew that you could easily get there.
Yeah, but that was when he was like, that was part of his diet. He had to work his way up. He didn't just wake up and eat 24 eggs.
Yeah, but he also wasn't force-feeding himself. That was just a normal day for him. If I wanted to force-feed myself 24 eggs, I feel like I could do it. And I'm not usually one to say I could do things like this.
Hey, we had a RadioU fantasy football league that we both lost in. We could do this.
Or maybe we just wait till the next fundraiser.
Yes.
We do an egg challenge.
Yes. Now you're talking.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
weekend watch list for the week, which has a million movies, many of which may possibly be the best movie of 2023. But since we since they just came out and we haven't seen them yet, let's talk about the top movies of 2023 that we have seen as we look back through the year. 8772 RadioU, text in your favorite movie of the year. Isaiah, why don't you lead us off?
My best movie of 2023, but far and away, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Really, you liked it that much, eh?
Yes.
I will admit that I nearly forgot that came out this year. Good movie, though.
Oh, great movie.
How does it stack up against the other two Guardians?
It's hard to say. It's better than the second one for sure.
Yeah, that's full agreement here.
The first one is a fantastic movie. I really like the first one. The third one, it's just such a build-up for Rocket's backstory. It's a very emotional Marvel movie, and that's why I have it ranked so highly, because it really got my heartstrings pulled.
Yeah.
So that's why I've got it number 1.
Guardians 3 is hard to categorize for me because if you watched it, if it was the first Guardian, it was the first introduction to the characters, if we didn't have like 20 some other Marvel movies leading up to it, I think we would like it more. But then again, obviously it's good that we have some familiarity with the Guardians characters before we get to this movie. So it's hard to really think what my true thoughts are on it. It didn't come to mind as my favorite movie of the year, though. I'll tell you some text coming in. Jake and Brittany both saying this is an obvious choice. Barbie, of course. Saw that. Definitely not a favorite, but it is on Max now, so I might circle back to that, give it another shot. Let's see. We also got a text in here from Brad who says, this is a good choice. This is one of my top 3, and that is the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That was very good. I'll tell you that was top 3, but it couldn't be number 1 for me because it's not a whole movie. It's part of a 2-part movie, and I don't like that. Also, looks like we're getting some texts in here for, it's a good choice. Good Burger 2. That just came out.
Did you text that in?
No, but I endorse it. That was Eric, but I will say Good Burger 2. Best movie of the year. That's a stretch, but one of the most enjoyable movies of the year. Absolutely. Of course, another obvious choice here. Aaron says Oppenheimer. I haven't seen that yet.
Oppenheimer, it's very popular.
Yeah.
Regina says, I didn't watch a lot of movies this year. I did enjoy Barbie. She said completely opposite, though, was Sound of Freedom. And for the profound message, I have to go with that. It's a tough watch, but I hope it inspires change in our world and laws.
That is a popular choice for sure. I still haven't seen that one yet. And then my last two, my 2 is a toss-up. My favorite or the best movie I've seen is Killers of the Flower Moon. Not my favorite, though, because it's not, like, enjoyable. My other favorite movie of the year, and this is a shocker, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
Really?
Did not expect that I would enjoy that as much as I did, but that was a great movie.
Coming in at number 1, movie of the year.
So far. There's a lot
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I got to catch up. I got some catching up to do, but yes, that is my favorite movie that I've seen this year.
Now, don't let that skew how you guys, take in his reviews every week.
Yeah.
For the weekend watch list. Don't let that kill his credibility that he picked Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a good movie.
It will be a juxtaposition when I say that's my favorite movie of the year so far, and then we're going to do Oscar stuff in a couple weeks when the Oscars ramp up and talking about all the critically acclaimed movies that may or may not surpass Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as my favorite of the year. But still, let us know yours if you haven't yet. 8772 RadioU.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on RadioU.
When you flush a toilet in California, that water can go a lot of places, Could wind up in farmland, helping farmland. That's helpful, right? it could have wind up at an ice skating rink near Disneyland. And soon, it could end up in a faucet in your sink in California. Regulators in California approved new rules earlier this week to let water agencies recycle wastewater and put it back into the pipes that carry drinking water into homes, schools, and businesses.
And this feels like shocking news, I assume, to some.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would recoil at seeing that headline.
But then at the same time, you got to think they're just filtering it out.
Well, they're going to clean it, yeah.
Yeah, so what's the difference?
That's the recycling.
What's the big hullabaloo?
So you're telling me that if I told you now the water that you're drinking used to be wastewater,
I wouldn't even be surprised.
You wouldn't bat
I
an
assume
eye.
that's how we did it.
Apparently not. So you're totally okay with this. It doesn't gross you out.
I assume this is what we've been doing the whole time.
You know what they say? You're not supposed to crap where you eat. But you're saying drink where you go to the bathroom.
Well, let me give you a little reality check here, Hudson. There's children today that would die for water.
Yeah,
and we're complaining over here that we're gonna clean it and drink it again. The people in California, they're hyped up for this. All the drought and stuff going on out there.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I was gonna say most people, you give them 5 bullet points to describe California, things they know about it. One of them is probably going to be drought. They're always out of water. So, from that perspective, it's just resourceful is what it is.
Yeah, I assume this is what we were already doing. I assume the water just went around everywhere and just
not just in California,
it
everywhere.
just got everywhere. I assume this is what was happening in all parts of the country. You flush your toilet, it goes in through some sort of pipe that's like a filtration system, just comes through the water fountain.
And what happens to that filter?
Gets cleaned. I don't know how it works. I just assumed it was all going around.
I mean, I guess in some cosmic big picture sense, it probably is. But now it's going to be a much more direct process.
And you can tell when water's bad.
You can tell by the taste.
You can tell by the flavor.
Are you a water snob or do you do tap water?
I do tap water.
A lot of people, maybe because of your thought process of thinking this is already what happens anyways, maybe they just feel that they don't. That's why they don't drink out of the tap anyways, because they're afraid.
See, I'll drink out of the tap. I've drunk out of the tap here.
Yeah.
And we don't have great tap water. The flavor isn't great. But I'll still do it.
Because you don't want it to go to waste?
More out of just ease sometimes.
So you don't have any sanitary concerns that I guess it's not even that this is happening, but you have such implicit trust, it sounds like, in the filtration process.
I do, yes, I completely do. I only go tap water based off flavor. Like my parents' tap water, fantastic. That's like what I drink my whole life.
Is that well water?
Yeah.
Oh, well water, yeah.
So
now
good.
We're talking.
But here, and at my house, my new house at home, we don't have great tap water, and so I'll only drink it if I really need to.
Yeah, city water, blah.
Not nearly as good.
Not as good.
But this is good for California. This is an idea that you, yet again, I thought we would have come up with this a while ago.
Use every part of the buffalo, apparently.
The people in
going on?
California should be upset that we didn't come up with this earlier.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't think of a filter. We've barely got any water over here. We didn't think of a filter.
They're just dropping it all into the ocean.
What are we just getting rid of? Like, one-time flush, there it goes. There goes a gallon.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, RadioU.
Coming up here in about 30 minutes, our Christmas food fight to cap off the year. The new Little Debbie Christmas cherry cordial and chocolate Christmas tree cake ice creams. Ice cream for breakfast, Isaiah.
Exciting times.
And I still think about it from time to time. The Christmas tree cake ice cream, the original, when we tried that on the show, that was one of our top 5 moments. We were almost crying, if you recall. So maybe this can recapture that. That'll be on the RadioU Riot Facebook page and YouTube channel if you want to watch and see if Isaiah or I are brought to tears by Little Debbie's newest Christmas ice creams. Now, this weekend, a lot of people feeling a lot of pressure to bring a date home to mom and dad. A new survey says 73% of singles feel the weight of familial expectations when getting together for the holidays.
That's a lot of singles.
You ever felt that?
Never.
Would you ever ask somebody who wasn't actually your girlfriend to be your girlfriend for a date to a family get-together so that you seemed like you weren't single?
I think of a lot of the things you could do for Christmas, that's probably the dumbest thing you could do.
Well, surprisingly, 40% of people say they've done it. 40%.
Why? I don't understand that whatsoever. It makes no sense to me. You're going to introduce your whole family to this guy that you're not dating. You're going to pretend you're dating him. You're going to have to entertain him the whole time, or him or her the whole time. And then guess what? The next time you see your family, what are you going to do? Bring somebody else?
Yep.
The following time you bring somebody else, and then all of a sudden, people aren't saying, oh my gosh, Isaiah's single. Or, oh my gosh, Claire's always single. They're going to be saying, oh my gosh, Isaiah's just a revolving door. He can't hold down a woman.
Your theory holds some water because while 40% of people admit they've asked somebody to pretend to be their date for a family get-together, 53% say they've been a fake date for a family get-together. So that means...
Is that worse? Is it worse?
You cook the numbers on that one. That means people are doing it more than once, helping out other extra folks over and over again.
If somebody asked me to be a fake date, though, I would be a great fake date.
Yeah, no, you could do it.
But at the same time, I'm not putting myself in that situation. I'm going to volunteer to get introduced to a girl's entire family. That's like the toughest part of a real relationship.
Yeah, that's right.
Of your actual girlfriend, when you have to go to her family Christmas and get introduced to everybody and awkwardly sit there and they'll ask you questions. That's tough enough as is.
Try to not look like a fool in front of the dad.
Then
that's the worst.
I'm gonna do a fake version of that.
Yeah.
That I get nothing from. I'm getting nothing there.
Oh, there's come on. There's got to be a trade-off.
Oh, I'm getting something. What am I getting?
I don't know.
Getting a free meal.
She owes you one.
Love that. Not worth it.
I have so many questions about this. Actually, I think we need to bring it back. And let's put this out there. 40% of people have done this. Have you ever done it? Have you ever asked somebody to be your fake date? Fess up. Or have you ever been a fake date? 877-2-RADIO-U. And I've got a few more questions I want to ask too.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
As we get so close to Christmas, you know, one of my possibly controversial opinions about Christmas is that the lead up to Christmas is better than Christmas Day.
Controversial.
You buy that?
Some parts of it. The season is a fun time.
Yeah. Like Christmas Day, I don't want to say it's a letdown because you get a lot of even as an adult, I still love getting gifts. It's always fun giving gifts always. It's usually fun giving gifts to most people to see the look on their face and how they're happy when, there's a lot of great things to love about Christmas Day. The day off from work, the football a lot of the time, a lot of good things. But I think what's better than Christmas Day is all of the lead up to Christmas, how we get a month, some people even more, of looking forward to Christmas, getting ready for Christmas. Sometimes it can be stressful, but part of it is knowing that when you get to Christmas Day, there's going to be a payoff. There's always the payoff on Christmas Day.
There's always a payoff.
Yeah. There's always at least a gift waiting for you, a good dinner probably for most people. And you get like a whole month to just look forward to one day. And so, but the flip side is when you look forward to something for so long, then your expectations are so high. I think that's why I think the lead up is better, because the day just can't possibly live up to the expectations. Although for many, they say it does. All I'm saying is December is an amazing month because you have so much to look forward to for a whole month, something to keep you going. Like, oh, if I can just make it to December 25th, in this case, if I can just make it to Christmas weekend, it's smooth sailing. It's going to be amazing. Having that something to look forward to, that anticipation, that's huge. The anticipation of something amazing happening. And that is actually kind of what Christmas is all about. That's what the original Christmas, when Jesus actually came to earth, that's what it's about. It's about looking forward, having hope when things don't seem very great. Every month, every December, when it rolls around, even if things don't seem great in a lot of aspects of life, you've got Christmas to look forward to. When you have a relationship with God, even when things don't seem great, Jesus is going to take care of you. He's got something for you to look forward to. And so you can get through the difficult times because there's something better coming. That's what Christmas in many ways is all about. That's what a relationship with God can do for you. If that's something that you want, ask for it. Say, hey, God, I want to know there's something better coming. I want to know I can count on you even when things get dark and bad. I want to have something to look forward to. Jesus will give that to you. If you want to know more, check out RadioU.com/free gift.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Well, the good news is we don't need cookies for this food fight. All we need is Little Debbie's brand new cherry cordial and chocolate Christmas tree cake ice cream for our final food fight of 2023. Getting in the Christmas spirit one more time. I'll tell you what gets me in the Christmas spirit is when I went to get these ice creams. They were $1 each.
Well, that's a good deal.
When does that ever happen? When?
Not very frequently.
Not for
ice cream.
So already that's a mark in their favor. Isaiah, before we actually taste them, what is your normal thoughts on the cherry cordial Little Debbie and the chocolate Christmas tree cake Little Debbie?
The cherry cordial, not my favorite. I've had it, not my favorite. Not a big cherry cordial guy in general.
Yeah.
And then we have the chocolate Christmas tree cake I've never had. You ever had it?
I probably have, but there's no way it can compare, right, to the
vanilla.
We've had the regular Christmas tree cakes in the break room for on and off over the holidays.
So good.
It's just so good.
It's incredible. It's honestly incredible how good they are.
It is. They are amazing. Cherry cordials, I don't know if I've ever had one. It's not the type of thing that would normally appeal to me. I'll tell you, the ice cream smells real good. So maybe.
It looks good. If you wanted to Christmas up your Christmas, maybe Christmas Eve
at a low price,
you get some of these guys. They look, the packaging is very Christmassy.
It is. And it makes it doesn't seem like $1 thing of ice cream.
Like, I think if you got a couple of these guys and stuck them in on Christmas Eve, let everybody have their own or try them all. Be a fun little Christmas Eve activity.
Yeah,
maybe I'll do that if these are good.
That's smart. That's smart there. Again, I can't stress this enough. $1. Every other ice cream of that size is like $3, $4. All right. Which one do you want to try first then?
Let's go. My spoon is in the cherry cordial, so let's try that.
Got it. Cherry cordial.
Got a nice little pink color to it.
There's definitely some like chunks, or I don't know if they're chunks from the visual, but they're visuals of cherry.
Hold the phone.
Is it good?
Can't be sure yet. It's very cherry.
Whoa, this is weird. Is it? It almost doesn't taste like ice cream.
Why do you say that?
Because it's so fruity. It's almost like if Kool-Aid was an ice cream with chocolate chips in it.
I don't know about that. It tastes like a cherry ice cream.
I'll tell you, I didn't get a very big scoop.
Cherry chocolate.
And yet again, I've never had a cherry cordial that I know of from Little Debbie, but it looks like there's cake involved. I mean, that's what Little Debbie does, right? Cake. I didn't get any cake in my scoop. So that's a mark against it. However, taste-wise, I know I said Kool-Aid in ice cream form, but it's actually good, though.
It is good. I don't think it's quite as... I think it's definitely cherry.
Well, it's got that, like... What is it? What would it be? Like almondy, kind of? You know, like the maraschino cherry. Like it's big on that flavor, which is a good flavor.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it more than I thought I might.
Well, it's balanced nicely with the chocolate chunks in it.
Yeah, the little chips, very well dispersed. So, I mean, I think pretty positive reviews on that. We'll give a final rating in a minute. But now we got the chocolate Christmas tree cake ice cream from Little Debbie. This one definitely has a chunk of chocolate cake in it.
Now that's chocolate.
And that's really good too. Very chocolatey.
It's a deep chocolate.
The cake is actually in it, easy to find, which I appreciate. But can I say, I think I enjoy the cherry cordial one more.
Really?
Yeah. Can I say that?
You can say whatever you want to say.
I said it.
I won't say that, but you can say that.
The cherry cordial one, I enjoy more.
You really took us on a roller coaster there.
Yeah. Well, what's your rating?
I'd give the cherry cordial probably not exactly my style of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving that like a 3.6 or so.
Mm-hmm.
If it was available on Christmas Eve, I would eat it for the festivitiness.
Yeah.
But if they also had the chocolate Christmas ice cream tree cake,
Mm-hmm.
the Christmas tree cake,
Yeah.
I would for sure take that one over it. I'm marking that down as like a 3.9. Only reason that I have it, my rating scale 4.0 means I would buy it.
Yeah.
Only reason I have it below that is because my chocolate ice cream is my favorite. So I would never buy chocolate ice cream as is.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to buy chocolate ice cream and this is $1, I would buy that. But I don't buy chocolate ice cream, so no.
Yeah, I feel like we have to, like, whatever our rating is, our actual rating is, has to be bumped up like half of a whole point just because these are $1 right now. I would give the cherry cordial 3.9. I'd give the chocolate Christmas tree cake 3.7. Be happy to eat both of them. Full price, whatever the full price is, I probably would still steer clear or obviously go with the regular Christmas tree cake ice cream. But for $1, that's real good.
Real good deal. If you're a fan of chocolate or cherry and you guys want to spice up Christmas, this is the way to go.
What a final food fight for 2023. An appropriate and apt way to round out the holiday season. Cable Price and Friends, it is The Riot.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on RadioU.
Who asks for Christmas gifts?
I do every year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you who. Nonprofit radio stations with no commercials. That's been our gift to you all year long, and that's been possible thanks to listeners like you that make it possible. Well, you can continue to make it possible into the new year with your tax-deductible donation at radiou.com/donate. Isaiah, by the time we wheel back around here on January 2nd, so much will have changed in football. There's some big games this weekend, and it seems so far away to think about, but the college football playoff championship will be determined who's going to be in that by the time we get back here on Monday as well. I want some predictions. When we're back here, okay, first of all, let's say for football's sake, NFL's sake, let's say we were doing a show here on Tuesday. What would you think we would be? What do you think the headline would be?
You're talking about the day after Christmas?
Yep.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say the headline is going to be the Baltimore Ravens upset the San Francisco 49ers on the road on Christmas night. Lamar now the lead for MVP. I would also say another headline would probably Cowboys roll over Dolphins.
Oh, you're stealing all of mine.
The Dolphins are in question of what they'll even do in the playoffs and if they'll even win their own division because the Bills will roll against the Chargers, locking themselves in a very good spot for the playoffs.
It's bad news that we just can't be right because we're both in such agreement. I think the Ravens will beat the 49ers in a MVP showdown between Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy. And I'll tell you, I think it's because the Ravens routinely have success against teams that haven't seen Lamar Jackson before, like teams from the NFC. He's a hard guy to prepare for. And so I think that gives them a little bit of a leg up against the 49ers, who are, let's be honest, getting a little big for their britches at this point.
And you know the last time that everybody was crowning the 49ers as the best team in the NFL?
Yeah.
That was around week 4. And you know who they lost to in week 5? The Cleveland Browns went ahead and humbled them. Listen to this. Lamar Jackson versus 18 NFC opponents in his career.
Yeah.
17-1.
Exactly. So we're on the same page with that. And then Cowboys, Dolphins. I don't think the Cowboys are as good as sometimes they've been trumped up to be, but I also still think they're good. I think the Dolphins, they haven't beaten a team that's over 500 all year long, which I guess is what people had been saying about the Cowboys until they beat the Eagles. I just don't believe the Dolphins. I think they're bullies. They beat up on bad teams. The Cowboys are ready for a bounce back after last week, and they're going to get it this week.
And Tyreek Hill's a little banged up.
That's right. So that's the NFL stuff. But yet again, it's worrying to me that we're in such agreement. Probably on Tuesday, the Dolphins and the 49ers will have whooped up on the competition, and everybody will be saying, that's the Super Bowl coming your way. Okay, now, college football playoff. What's your prediction?
Michigan takes on Alabama. Everybody is super high on Alabama right now because they got in. The last we saw them was them taking down number 1 Georgia. It comes down to it here. I think it's going to be Alabama versus Texas in the college football playoff championship. A SEC preview for Texas joining next year. 2 big teams in the big one.
Now we've got in the big one. Now we've got some disagreement here because I think, the tide is so gone again. The tide. Everybody has turned against Michigan. Everybody thinks Alabama's all good now. Let's go back a few games, if you recall, where Alabama barely beat Auburn. And Michigan has not really had a close game against anybody. Ohio State was their closest. They still kind of dominated them. Everybody all of a sudden thinks Michigan sucks. They don't. They're going to beat Alabama. And I'll take Washington in the upset over Texas just because I like Washington's coach better. I just trust them a little more. I think they can do it. They're the TCU of this year. What can you say? So there you have it. Let us know what you think. 8772 RadioU, your football predictions for the next few days.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on RadioU.
Into the next week or so where we'll be off. You'll be in Florida. I've got some time off. New Year's is going to be happening. Obviously, a lot of people have that day off. Isaiah, do you know how you're spending New Year's?
Oh, I know how I'm spending New Year's.
How are you spending it?
I'm going to be back here, out
back
and
in
about,
town. Yeah.
at a New Year's Eve party.
So you're not looking for like a destination to spend your New Year's
I already have a ticket for a big festival thing for New Year's Eve. So unfortunately, I already have plans, but I would love to hear you out on some good places.
Actually, unfortunate because I have here a ranking from Wallet Hub, well-known New Year's Eve enjoyers, of course. Wallet Hub has ranked the best cities to spend New Year's Eve in, and the number 1 city is Orlando, Florida. Yeah, maybe you should stick around in Florida a little longer, eh?
Impossible.
Orlando
number 1? How?
Well, think about the party at Disney World for New Year's. That must be a blast.
Let me ask you this, Hudson. New Year's Eve. When I think of my New Year's Eve, I don't think that I would like to spend it at Disney, circled by around like a million
just a big
children.
Crowd, yeah. I think New Year's Eve, I don't know if that's the children crowd, although then it's the Disney adult crowd, which is arguably worse.
Which one do you prefer?
Yeah. So,
I don't know if you can go into Disney and not be circled around a million children.
Yeah, true. But maybe elsewise, Orlando, you think about it, New Year's Eve, it's nice to be out in like outdoors for like a ball drop or something like that. I know a lot of cities have different things they drop that aren't balls. It would be nice to have nice weather, right?
It would. I like nice weather.
So, and most of the country would be experiencing a cold snap of some form or another around New Year's. So, Orlando, maybe it's a nice balmy 40 degrees. You don't have to bundle up too much. Number 2 on the list was San Diego. Again, same concept. Outdoors. You can have a good time out in the streets.
A little chillier than Orlando is going to be like 60 degrees. San Diego, ooh, be a little chillier there on the water.
Then number 3 is the city everyone thinks about when it comes to New Year's, I'm sure, and that is New York City.
Sitting a little low at 3, you would say.
Yeah, but has the ball drop in Times Square ever appealed to you?
Not for me.
No, me neither. It is not.
But then I think about Orlando. I think about Orlando. It sounds like the same thing to me. Standing at Disney sounds very similar to standing there.
I can tell I'd much rather be at Disney. I'd much rather be at Disney. In New York City, it's cold, surrounded by drunk people, which may be true just about everywhere, but like you can't hardly move. And then it's probably playing some like there's some concert of some artist you don't even care about. You know what I mean? Like Meghan Trainor or something.
And then you could be at Disney surrounded by a bunch of children watching Goofy.
I'd prefer Goofy to Meghan Trainor every time, every day of the week, and twice on Sunday. Las Vegas is number 4 in Wild Hub's rankings. Sure, that's a fun time. Odds are
also feels a little low.
Something you could do there on New Year's. And number 5, Atlanta, Georgia. By the way, you're wondering the worst city to spend New Year's Eve in. How can this be possible? North Las Vegas. Ranked 100 out of 100.
You got to think. Of the top 100 places, North Las Vegas, if you're in Las Vegas for New Year's, you're not going to be in North Las Vegas. That's the night that you're going to go out on the town.
Yeah.
North Las Vegas, nobody's going to be there.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Hello, Nikki.
Good morning. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Good
Christmas,
morning.
Nikki. Nikki, we have to tell you this. Yesterday, the show saved Isaiah from a real dilemma.
What do you mean?
And by the show, I mean pretty much me.
Okay.
I would like to take a lot of the credit for it.
So yesterday on the
Hudson
show,
always saving Isaiah every day.
Yeah, that's right. I helped him out a big time.
yesterday on the show, one of the things that came up just naturally in a segment was about how there's some dogs that you can have for like a sleepover for Christmas that are in like the shelter right now that they do like every year, so you can decide if you want to adopt them or not.
Yeah, they like to load off some of the dogs so that they don't have to have so much staff at all the shelters.
And I said I'm having a similar issue with my dog where I'm trying to get him to go somewhere else for Christmas Eve.
But he's not at a shelter.
Yes, but the
you
thing,
just need someone to watch him.
yeah, so I'm going for Christmas. I'm going to Florida to hang out with Nikki.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get invited.
Yes.
But I'm going to Florida for Christmas, so I needed someone to watch Jim, and I realized that my roommate also is not going to be at the house. And so yesterday, last second, I tried to get him boarded.
Ooh, that's not possible. You need like months in advance.
Exactly. It's
You
Christmas.
would think, right?
It's Christmas like 3 days out. And so I call this place, the place where he gets groomed at. And over there, he's practically a celebrity because he gets groomed so much because of the stink. And so I call and I'm like, hey, he's never been boarded there before. And I call him like, hey, I need to get my dog boarded. And they're like, okay, when? And I'm like, 2 days from now for Christmas Eve.
Did they laugh at you?
And they said, oddly enough, they actually had a cancellation that morning. So they had one spot open for my smelly dog.
No. So
And-
wait, okay, does Jim have all of his shots though? Because I thought that was a thing because he has to have certain ones to be boarded.
It usually is a thing because he never has his shots. But I did just a couple weeks back because he was having this peeing issue. Take him to the vet to get him checked out, and they gave him all his vaccinations and told me that his
Isaiah,
food
you're
is too
such a
salty.
good doggy daddy.
I know, right?
You're so good. So he's going to go to a doggy boarding place for Christmas?
Yes, he's going for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. He's never been before. And so
Yeah.
I know that you love getting your dogs boarded. And I didn't know if you had any tips for when I drop off Jim.
Well, okay, so I think that this might be in your favor because it's still lingering. A lot of people have been canceling boarding their dogs because of the weird dog disease that's been going around for a
Ooh.
while. So I think that may be why you have an opening when normally you wouldn't. But I would say the one thing that I did when now I have 3 dogs, so it added up quickly, is don't do like the nighty night service where they give them ice cream or like tuck them in, because that really will rack up quickly.
Oh, don't worry,
when
Isaiah
you're done
didn't
with
do
your
that.
bill.
We said
Oh, you didn't sign him up?
No, I didn't sign him up for the puppy Kong and the pup cup. And it was funny because
They tuck them in.
I was telling Hudson, I'm like, hey, there's no way I'm paying for these extra things. I'm like, but you know who would pay for these?
Yeah.
Nikki would pay for these.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then I wised up. I realized if you bring like dog treats with them and your dogs are super cute and Jim is super cute,
He is
they're
cute.
going to kind of like shower them with cookies and love anyways. So you don't really need to necessarily pay for It's not like they're going to ignore Jim because you didn't pay for the puppy package.
But if he was not as
so I think
cute.
you're fine.
What about food?
Yeah, if he was not as cute.
Am I supposed to bring his food with them or do they feed him?
Yes. No, you bring your food.
What? What?
I feel like that should be a part. It's it's
Yeah.
expensive. I
So
thought
wait,
that they would
hold
just
on,
feed
hold
him.
on. If he doesn't bring food for Jim, Jim just starves.
That sounds crazy.
No, they get mad because they want Jim to be on the food that he's normally on. So, as a good dog dad, you bring in his food bowl, some toys, some blankets, and a dog bed sometimes. But you have to bring in his food so that he has his normal stuff.
Yeah, I'll make sure to bring in his food. He's currently on a diet as well because when we went to the vet a couple weeks ago, they also said he's fat. So he'll be getting a little bit. Maybe he won't bring his food. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He'll gain weight because, again, my dog Sugar, when I boarded her last time, I think she gained like 5 pounds because they gave her so much extra stuff that she really enjoyed it.
It's a good thing we had this segment and you got Nikki to join us because you needed that tip.
Jim would have been so hungry.
Jim would have been starved. Yeah.
I think they would have been very disappointed in you. And I think you're always walking a fine line when it comes to how you care for Jim.
Yeah.
So I think they would be worried, but he'll have a great time. And then you don't have to worry. Do they have a dog cam in this one?
I don't know if they do or not. They didn't really give me many details. I just know when I'm supposed to
They
drop
didn't even
him off.
tell him on the phone I was here how much it cost.
I have no idea how much it costs.
Oh, you want to guess? Do you guys want to
I'm
put
nervous.
down what you think it is?
He's
How
there
many
for-
days is it?
He's there for two nights. No, 3
2
nights.
nights?
He's there for 3
3
nights.
Yeah, because they had a minimum 3-night stay.
3
They did
night
tell him that.
stay.
I would bet you're probably going to be, if it's just one dog, I would say $300.
Mm.
$300. Cha-ching.
You should have just put him up in a real hotel.
He can't just, maybe he'll just stay home by himself.
Yeah.
He can watch
Oh,
himself.
that's awful. No, have a good time and just know they'll
No.
kind of take care of him.
Actually,
so
you know,
you'll
the
be
way
fine.
the way he's described Jim the dog, you'd have to pay me $300 to take him to.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
actually a
sounds
steal.
accurate.
That's
Yeah.
a steal.
That is a going rate.
Thanks for joining us, Nikki. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
We have a story here that actually affects the OG Radio U in Columbus, Ohio, where a McDonald's in Columbus, Ohio has been closed, temporarily at least, because a customer supposedly found a crack pipe in his McDonald's meal. Yeah, I'll say.
It's no good.
Yeah, that's probably one of like the top 5 worst things I feel you could find, right? In your meal.
I would say so. I mean,
It's
how
up
do you
there.
even, where do you find this?
A crack pipe in your McDonald's.
I know, but I'm saying like, it's not like it was like that's not like a fingernail where
Yeah.
it could easily slide in your burger.
Uh-huh.
Like, where is this in? Like, they just put that in the fries or what? With the nuggets?
see-
Like, it's not like it would just like slide in there and you wouldn't notice.
I don't know much about drug paraphernalia, but the way I picture it is the individual in question that had this crack pipe was wearing a shirt with like a pocket on the breast, a breast pocket, and they had the crack pipe in there and they like leaned over the bag and it fell over.
And it
into
just slid.
That's how I picture it.
It just slid into
Yeah, it fell out and they didn't realize.
the little thing of fries.
Yeah.
And so you had all your fries and then just a crack
Oh,
pipe.
you know what it probably was? all the fries, right? They're in the big vat of fries, and then they get the scoop and then scoop them in. So the individual with the breast pocket with the crack pipe in it probably leaned over that fry thing and it fell out. Then somebody scooped it up into the fry bag.
Yes.
Yep, is what definitely probably happened. That's, according to my investigation, my sources, that's what I'm expecting. So that McDonald's, if you're in Columbus, it's on Harrisburg Pike, I believe. It's been shut down temporarily. And this might be a shock. There were other health code violations in addition to that.
No, actually.
Yeah.
It sounds like an upstanding business.
Wasn't the only issue this McDonald's had once an investigation was opened into it.
And then if you're the person who finds this in your McDonald's bag and your fries, you just walk up and what do you say,
Apparently this person just posted it on Reddit. They didn't go back and ask for a refund.
What? You for sure could have went in there.
Yeah, you got to
totally should. You
got to march
lawsuit.
right back in, and then the guy goes, "Hey, I was looking for that." He's the crack guy.
Yeah,
they could have killed two birds with one stone with that.
You could have for sure gotten some money for that.
Yeah, big mistake.
Huge mistake.
The person who found the crack pipe probably still some gift cards probably coming their way. Would you think?
Oh, you have to think so.
Although now they'll have to go further out of their way because they can't use it at their normal McDonald's. So. The hand strikes and gives a flower, I suppose.
Well, you think about this McDonald's, now people are out of jobs.
That's right. The individuals.
Everybody else gets fired there, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe they get moved. They get moved to a different McDonald's.
Maybe transferred.
You think you transferred?
Or are they all guilty by association? Or is it one of those things?
Out.
Nobody gets transferred until we find out who did this, and nobody volunteers to say, yes, I was the one with the crack pipe. So
I think that person might just step up and just be like, it was.
You think they will step up?
I think they might. I wouldn't surprise me.
I think if you have a crack pipe, you're not volunteering any information.
But I think at the same time, if you somehow are just losing it at work, maybe you don't care as much about your day-to-day life.
Yeah, but you do care about going to jail. I would think so.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.